Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex. Today we're going to talk about the book Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now, this book has a lot of trigger warnings, so before I get into the review, I'm going to talk about the trigger warnings because some of you might not want to listen to this review or read the book. So, child abuse, murder, the loss of a loved one, infidelity, a miscarriage attempt, and lots of other just really disturbing stuff that happens in this book. So, be extremely careful while reading this book. All right, I'm going to continue. This is not a romance or a thriller. This is a Lifetime movie script. This was basically a modern Jane Eyre with lots of sex scenes. It's incredibly sexual, with about 20 pages of sex. I got tired of all the sex. The book reveals one of the biggest clues early on, and from there, it's impossible not to just put it all together and hang on what's really happening with the story itself. Doesn't leave any room for any other possibilities to wedge itself from your mind. Other thrillers are so cleverly written and intricate. They drive you crazy with the many theories that could fit the story without it being bloated or nonsensical. This book, on the other hand, is way too simple and basic, mystery-wise, to work in that manner. It seemed as though the author was just trying really hard to distance herself from her identity as a romantic writer. This book is chaotic. It's filled with darkness, unsettling themes, and often quite ugly. While I admire authors who venture outside their usual genres and take bold risks, I believe it needs to feel natural and authentic rather than contrived and superficial. Unfortunately, the dark elements in the story felt like they were included solely for shock value, which I find quite troubling, especially when it touched on sensitive issues like child abuse and somebody trying to cause a miscarriage to themselves and hurting her children. It left a really negative impression on me, and I found myself wanting to erase it from my memory. The disturbing nature of the book seemed more about being provocative than meaningful storytelling. The storyline felt weak, as most of the book focused on a mix of abusive situations, sexual themes, and everyday activities. While there were a few genuinely unsettling moments that gave me a slight scare, they were rare and not sufficient to hold my interest throughout this reading experience. The characters lacked depth. Most defined were just by one of two traits. Verity is characterized by her abusive past and health issues. Jeremy is by his desirability, and Lowen for her longing for Jeremy. It isn't until the very end that we begin to see a different side to them, adding some complexity, but then it just feels like a little too late. Furthermore, none of them possess any redeeming qualities. Child abuse often serves as a plot device to drive characters' motivations, and I find this practice deeply troubling. It's frustrating when authors exploit such a sensitive and traumatic issue, either to label their works as dark or simply to prepare their narrative forward. So I have read a few Colleen Hoover books, and I know she gets a lot of negative press, and I understand why. But the two books that I've read by her, I've read two. This is the third. So I enjoyed the first two. Actually, no, I've read four books. Excuse me. I've enjoyed three books of her. This is the only one that I really found troubling and really just not good. And it was like such a copycat of Jane Eyre, pretty much. It didn't work for me. There are a lot of 5-star reviews on Goodreads. So a lot of people loved this book. I am, I guess, in the minority of this one, but Colleen Hoover fans, don't come for me. I am going to be uploading a few Colleen Hoover videos in the future. Um, I read Regretting You and oh man, uh, I can't remember the title, but I have made those videos and they will be coming up soon. Um, take care, have a great night or day whenever you watch this video, and keep reading. Bye.